What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a really fun video for you guys because we're talking all about why you should not buy the new DJI Avata Cinelog, and we're going to talk about the benefits to flying a more traditional FPV drone like this. This is the iFlight Nazgul 5, and it's really good for freestyle and getting super cinematic shots, and it costs a fraction of the price at about $380 just for the aircraft. In addition, there's way more battery options to choose from. These batteries go for about $25 on Amazon, and they have about 8-minute flight time without a GoPro, and with a GoPro or action, probably about 5 minutes. So that's pretty comparable to the Avata's battery, which is about 8 minutes. And the Avata's battery is $130. So that's extremely expensive because when you're flying FPV, you wouldn't have a lot of batteries because you're switching a lot, and if you really want to get good at this sport, you really need to be practicing a lot. So when I fly, I bring about at least 6, but usually around 10 of these little LiPo batteries, so I can be flying for at least like 40 minutes. So I think that's a huge benefit to flying more traditional FPV drones like this. In addition, I think one of the biggest selling points of the Avata is so many people talk about the fact that it's so easy to set up and you don't need much to travel with. And it's really good for just putting in a small bag and going. But the truth is that this drone is very similar. I only need the drone itself, a few of these batteries, the DJI FPV controller, and then the goggles. So that's only about 4 things, and I'm ready to go up in the air. All I need is a small bag, and I can be up in the air basically within a few minutes, honestly. There's not really much setup time at all. And I know at first glance that one of these types of drones might look intimidating because you can see all the different components and it looks super exposed and really scary. But the truth is that when you fly these drones, you learn a lot from them, because I've actually crashed a few of these and I've had to teach myself how to fix the motor and actually solder the wires myself. When you fly only DJI drones, you can't repair them yourselves because they're way too intricate, way too complex. You always have to send them in. So if you're the type of person that really likes to learn stuff and you really like to work with your hands and you want to learn more about drones, then I would highly suggest picking up one of these as your first drone, because by having one of these drones, you can learn so much about drones, how they work, and how to customize them to your liking. What up, guys? So I've been flying this drone a ton for the past few days, and actually I came up with a few more reasons why I think this type of drone is way better to get if you're starting to get into FPV compared to the DJI Avata. So first thing I want to talk about is the power on this thing. I mean, the power on this drone is absolutely insane. I mean, you can accelerate so fast. You can go from the ground to the sky within a few seconds. I mean, the power on these things are absolutely insane. And when you're doing freestyle, doing some cinematic FPV, you can really feel the power. Like, you can go so fast, and it's honestly incomparable compared to the Avata. Although I do not own the Avata, I've only seen it go about like 30 miles per hour, whereas this can go almost double, maybe even triple the speed. So I think another really valuable reason that you want to learn to fly one of these instead of just picking up an Avata is because if you're actually serious about FPV and you want to fly, bigger Cinelifter FPV drones to put your Komodo, your Blackmagic, you're going to have to fly basically just a bigger version of these, and by knowing how this works, knowing how to replace the motors, how to fix basic stuff, that's really going to help you in the long time to save a ton of money. Because when it comes to the Avata, if you break, the motor or something, it's going to be really hard to fix. You're going to have to send that into DJI. All right, everyone. So before we wrap up here, I want to talk about one final reason why you might want to pick up one of these kinds of drones versus a DJI Avata. So that sole reason is the new action cameras being released by both DJI and GoPro. So GoPro is releasing a new GoPro Hero 11, and there's also rumors of a GoPro Hero 11 mini version, which is perfect for FPV pilots because you know us, we want our drone to be as light as possible, so it's really easy to maneuver and better flight times. In addition, DJI is also releasing the new DJI Action 3 on the 15th, which is super sick because the DJI Action 2 is a great camera. However, I'm sure they improved a ton on it with the new 10-bit color and new specs and hopefully new sensor as well. So I think it's a really exciting time to be an FPV pilot because there's so many different options to choose from. So although the Avata does have the benefit of having just one camera, basically the FPV camera is both the main camera for cinematic footage and also for your goggles as well. And although that is a great benefit because you don't have to fiddle with any other cameras like GoPros and other batteries, that is a benefit. However, I think these are still extremely relevant, and especially if you're serious about getting into FPV and getting the best image quality possible, you really want to learn how to fly one of these. All right guys, so I know what you guys might be thinking. The last drone I showed you guys, the iFlight Nazgul 5, my little freestyle drone, the little green one, although it's powerful, great for maneuvering, great for tricks, and great for cinematic footage, it does have exposed props, which makes it dangerous to fly near people. And that's why I'm really excited to show you guys the GepRC Cinelog 35. This thing just came in the mail today, and this is perfect timing because I want to show you guys another great competitor to something like the DJI Avata. This thing is really inexpensive, about $400. It's really easy to set up and also has really nice prop guards here. This is perfect. So I'm gonna show you guys how to set it up. Don't let people scare you into thinking, oh, Betaflight's hard. It's so hard to set up these drones. Just get a DJI Avata, whatever. But I'm gonna show you guys how easy and simple it is to get this thing activated, plug into Betaflight, set up the controller, and get it up in the air. And then we're also gonna get some nice test footage around my little house right here. So let's get it. All right, so the first thing you want to do before you get any new drone is you want to activate the Caddx Vista Air unit. So by doing that, you want to plug it into your computer and launch DJI Assistant 2. Perfect. Next, you should see it show up on your DJI Assistant 2 and double click it. One thing to note that's really important is that even if the Air unit or Caddx Vista says that it's up to date with the latest firmware, it's really important that you update it anyways. Awesome, sweet. So my Air unit just finished updating. Now I'm gonna go over here and eject it. The next thing you wanna do is you wanna turn it back on, and then also you wanna sync your devices. So you wanna sync your goggles first, and then your remote controller. So let's get that started. Power on your goggles too, and you wanna click the little linking button here. Once your goggles are in linking mode, you wanna go back to your Air unit and click the little linking button here as well. And once you click that, it should instantly pair. Next, after you sync the goggles, you wanna turn on your controller. And then you're gonna press this button here, the record button, and then you're gonna click this button all simultaneously to put it into pairing mode. Let's try that. All right, sweet. So once you sync up your DJI equipment and you test that your video transmission is working, next what you wanna do is plug in your flight controller via the cable it came with. In my case, this is the micro USB cable. I plugged it in. So once you plug in your flight controller, it should be immediately recognized by Betaflight. And next, what you want to do is go over here to the receiver tab and power on your controller. So right now we're on the receiver page, and here you just want to go around and test your controls to see if everything's working properly. Good, my throttle's working, yaw is working, pitch, everything's good. However, the next tab, which is more important, here we're going to go to the modes tab. And this is really important because this is where you kind of map your controller out. This is how you map the arm, the acro mode, stabilize mode, and your beeper function. So this is really important. So first what you want to do is I want to set up my pre-arm first. This is the function that you do before you can arm it, and that's really important so you don't accidentally arm it when someone's holding your quad or when it's next to your face. So it's really important to have two different fail-safes. So you want to go over here, look for pre-arm, and then you press add range. Then you want to click your little button here that you want to map it to. And I want mine to be on when it's here. Boom. And then go ahead and press save. And to confirm that it's working, go ahead and press your button here. And then you should see that on the menu page here, pre-arm should light up, confirming that it's activated. Next, I want to map my arm button right over here. Press add range. Go ahead and move it to where it activates and then press save. And boom. See, we can confirm that it works now. Awesome. Next button I want to map right here is the acro and stabilized mode. For when I do a fail-safe with my video goggles, I can go into stabilized mode so my drone levels out and I could perhaps save it and keep it hovering. And also stabilized mode is good for if you're a beginner as well, or also if you want to fly line of sight safely. So that's a really good option to have. Also, it really makes landing a lot easier too. So I think this is a really good button to map to your controller. So you go ahead to angle, press add range, and boom. And press save. And we actually don't have to map the acro mode because it's already in acro by default. You can only map these angle modes, horizon modes as the more beginner modes because by default it's already in acro mode. And now we can go ahead actually and disconnect our flight controller. All right, sweet. So with those few steps, we're now done. We're now ready to go up in the air. And I don't know about you guys, but that was pretty easy. All we did was just plugged in our CADX Vista, updated it. Then we sunk up our DJI equipment by syncing up the goggles and the RC controller. And then we just plugged in our flight controller just to make sure that our RC link was working well. And we just mapped our little switches here. And just like that, we're ready to be up in the air. So I don't know about you guys, but that was super easy. And yeah, now we're on to the fun part. We're gonna fly this little bad boy around in here. And I think this is gonna be awesome because it's made for this. Has these really nice propeller guards. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. Let's get it. All right guys, so I'm about to go for my maiden flight. This is actually my first time flying a Cinewhoop, and I'm really excited because I'm gonna do my first maiden flight indoors actually. This place is gonna be perfect to fly this thing, so let's try it out. Plug in my battery. Get that strapped up. Plug in my Cinewhoop. All right guys, so I'm about to go for my maiden flight. All right guys, so in conclusion, this video is really to inform you guys about the different options that are out there. If you're first trying to get into FPV, I want to show you guys that there's other types of drones and there's a whole nother world out there besides the DJI Avata. And I really want to show you guys insight into my journey, into how I got into FPV and why I really enjoy this, because not only do I love flying, I also love building and kind of figuring out and problem solving how these things work. So if you're also into engineering, definitely start looking into drones like these because they're so fun to take apart and it's just a whole nother world. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.